probably, like a lot of people in England, the reason I started playing guitar was because I was in love with Oasis when I was like 15 or whatever, and I felt like it would be nice to know how to play one of the songs. And the best thing about Oasis is that most of the chords are the same and they're all quite easy, so that kind of got me up and running. We've got the studio in Elephant and Castle, which is in southeast London, and because we produced the record, rehearsed the record, wrote the record all in this one place, we were kind of embedded in Elephant for a number of years and have been before. So you do kind of notice things changing, and London's places where people live are getting knocked down for more expensive flats and people moved out. So you did notice it a little bit. I mean, it's not overtly political record, but you do notice the change, and I think that's kind of partly what making a record is. It's like a document of a slice of time. How the record sounds, we can translate it live, and I think we wanted to make something that sounded honest, and even if it sounded vulnerable at times, we didn't want to like paint over the cracks too much. And with the last album, it felt like we layered so much stuff. It was like almost like the record sort of half belonged in a computer or something, and we wanted this to sound like human and real and like a band in a room, and then when we played it again, it to be able to sound the same and for it to be tangible. And I think that's not like an epiphany. Bands been making records like that for 50 years, but it's nice to go back to those core values, you know.
We're a popular metal band. One of the main things that differentiates us from a lot of the underground metal bands is the fact that we don't have like an intellectual demand on our listener, because we understand perfectly well too that it is a theater rock band. It is something that you can enjoy if you are a kid. We want people to experience a somewhat of a religious, like a divine presence. There's supposed to be an uplifted feeling of having been touched by something that you cannot explain. You don't know what it is. It's just power, spirits, force. And the big problem with religion is that when someone comes and try to get you a book saying that this is how it is, listen to me, because you know nothing. You only know that there's something that you cannot explain. And that feeling we're trying to evoke and get everybody to feel without the guilt and without the...
The energy comes from just how grateful we are to be here and how wild the fans are. Where do they get their energy from? That's what I want to know. The crowd, they do mad stuff. When you're in front of 15,000 people and they all know the music and they're prepared to tear a tent down for your band, it's the same kind of feeling you get when somebody's organised for you to get beat up after school and you're like nervous about it. You're like, oh no, I'm going to be in a fight after school. I don't want to be in no fight, you know what I mean? So it's that kind of nervous. We always had this thing where, because we're from a small town, we were selling venues out before we had a record company or agent or anything like that. So yeah, it was very much us driving ourselves, bought our own van, you know, all our own tours. All the gigs were sold out on the basis of word of mouth, and we used to go around giving posters out everywhere and all that kind of thing. So, you know, like a lot of bands say, oh, I just got discovered, I was on the internet, I put a song on and it was lucky and all this kind of thing. But it was definitely meant. I really wanted a record deal, the whole band. We really want to play football stadiums. I think it's not very cool to say that, and I think a lot of bands are very, you know, keep it real and they're like, oh, whatever happens. But with us, we definitely want to be as big as we can and definitely want to play stadiums, and we definitely wanted to get a record deal and all that kind of thing. So yeah, it's just determination.